Peace and love, y'all. It's your brother A.D.V.I.S.S, and we are here with another more interviews, aka memoirs of our real experiences. And for today's more interviews, we have the brother and just another musician in arms, or MC in arms, under the influence. It's another good brother of mine. So again, for today's interview, please come in and come check out the brother under the influence as we get these things going on and going under the way. As well as y'all do come in, if y'all have any questions for the brother, please throw them in the comments, because again, this is going to be a live interaction, as well as anything that you are interested of learning of any of these artists, as well as the brother, please throw them down in the comments. But with that, the brother is up in here, so let me get this going in here so we can probably introduce and bring in the brother under the influence, y'all. This one's always for the Thanksgiving going. Put the money on the table, then divide it with a plan. Hey, y'all, we gotta know it, y'all. Yo, what's going on? And again, y'all, welcome, my brother, to more interviews, y'all, as well as here we have the sensational MC, fellow brother, fellow rhyme master in arms, the brother under the influence, y'all.
Good. Thank you for finally. I thought I could go live on my laptop, but that was a dub. So
Oh yeah, you only can do comments and stuff from your laptop. You cannot actually go live on that, brother.
yeah, so but for real, bro, I had my mic set up, like I had the headphones on, I was ready. Like, oh, that's okay.
It is all from the phone, but yeah.
Give me a second to readjust.
Oh yeah. And as he's doing that, y'all, please, again, this is the brother under the influence. And if y'all have any questions or anything you want to ask the brother, please, you can throw them down in the comments and we'll put them through the interview as we go on, as well as check this brother out on all different types of streaming platforms. Right now I'm playing in the background on Spotify, but you can work Spotify, you got SoundCloud, you got Tidal, you got Deezer, you got all these other different places you can't, you wouldn't even know and think of. But for your streaming likes and pleasures, brother, is out everywhere. Again, under the influence. And if you want to, if you're here on Instagram, please go ahead and follow, as well as just check out the brother's page. I say this with all the folks here, but I'm saying this on the real. You will not be disappointed, especially with this brother right here.
Thank you. I appreciate that, bro.
Yes, you already know, my man. Yes. But before we do start, man, how you doing?
Today's been a pretty relaxing day. I can't complain. Got a little massage in, which was needed after the big move. So, that definitely helped. But yeah, man, just trying to reset, clear my mind, get back in a good positive space because, I start my new job Monday. So,
Congrats, brother.
Thank you.
Congrats, man. Wow. That's what's up. I'm so glad to hear that it's relaxing. It's very, because I know how days can be very hectic and so much is be going on at any point in time. But man, now you're making me want to go be like, yo, I actually might need to get me a massage, at this point. But yeah, that's what's up, brother.
Mm-hmm.
But next thing, before we start, brother, is there any questions, comments, concerns, or anything that you'd like to share with the folks before we get underway with the interview?
No, not really. I'll probably drop some links later on towards the end, just so you could find my stuff later and some of the other folks that I'm collabing with. But other than that, that's great.
All right. Perfect. With that, again, y'all, as y'all coming in, please, if y'all have any questions, this is the brother under the influence. You can check this brother out on all streaming platforms in all different areas. Again, if you're not following, too, go ahead, hit that link up there at the top to go follow, which is Here the Influence is the Instagram, and he'll say everything else in the spill later on. And YouTube, y'all gonna get this information as well too later on. So with that, my brother, let's go ahead, let's get this interview started. Mr. Under the Influence, aka y'all don't know of many AKAs that this man has AKAs of AKAs. But with that, brother, for those who are experiencing you the first time, they have no clue. They're seeing your face on the screen right now. They're like, okay, who is this person right in front of me? For those folks, brother, can you tell us about yourself and give us some background of who you are?
Yeah. So I'm a '90s, well, late '80s baby, but grew up in the '90s, listening to that like hip hop. But I'm originally from New York. Started out as a producer,
Oh, wow.
in a group called 346, and that was that stood for three niggas from PS46. So we all was in the same neighborhood, and basically that was the school, elementary school that we all went to.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's kind of where the name came from, and from there, it just slowly evolved into me doing production, to me rapping, and then eventually where I'm at now, where I'm kind of doing the solo thing.
Mm,
You know.
okay. Anything else you want to share with us on top of that, too? See, now I got some background on the group, but anything else to add with that?
Um, yeah, like a big thing for me was always like sorry, as far as like a big influence was always like storytelling. You know what I mean? Like that was always something that was ingrained in me from the beginning, and I would normally do that with my production.
Mm,
Like I was real infamous for like my post production type stuff, and you can get like some of that on astronomical astronauts and on uncompleted scenarios. Like there's a lot of post production storytelling audio things that are going on. So um, I was able to kind of take that element and just transition it into lyricism, and songwriting. So yeah.
yeah. You got to alter the influence through all of the stuff that you're doing, brother. You know it. Man, but that's real dope because I did remember you speaking on that for us. For me personally, knowing that you transitioned into being more so of an artist and an MC through being a producer and making that production there first. So that's pretty. I still think that's pretty dope. Even just rehearing it as it is now, y'all. Y'all get a treat. Just letting y'all know that. Um, thank you for sharing that, brother. On top of that, from making that transition again from being producer into MC and being within the group that you were in, really tell us when did you begin creating like all this music? I know y'all was in it was in a group, but give us that timeline.
My fault. Um, so I went to college in 2006, seven ish.
Mm,
I went to Maryland, and then I kind of came back a year later, and then that's when I kind of started getting into music. But
mm,
when I was up there, I was still like dabbling with Fruity Loops and just doing production stuff because I was a big Kanye fan, so I was already like fucking with that shit on my own.
mm,
But then when I came back, I linked up with one of my childhood, day one motherfuckers, Kenneth Maddox, and we just ended up getting into music heavy again. And so that's where it kind of like the union started to come together. And then
mm,
over time we added other elements and pieces like M.O.O.R.E and kind of expanded. And then Breezy, who he doesn't rap, but he was a part of the three niggas that went to PS46. So you know what I'm saying? Like it was like a conglomerate of us. We all did different things. Um, but yeah, that's kind of some more about my humble beginnings.
that is dope. That is. I love hearing a lot of people's again origin and just their beginnings when it came to just them getting into creating the music. Because again, we can talk about saying that we've listened to the music and the art, whether it's from hip hop to all different types of genres, again at a very young age when you're exposed to that. But to jump in and really not only pursue but become more than just a listener to the music is where you get to see those influences as well as getting to see where you already knew this was coming, brother. Um, See these influences as well as just learning how to create again your own style and your passion and love for it as you pursue it. So it's always so dope just hearing that. And on top of just again the question of when you began doing it, really what really inspired and pushed you to create the music? Like what really drove you?
Well, my father was like always into music. So he was, I think he played drums when he was in the army, in
Mm,
the Jamaican army, because he's from Yard, as we like to say.
yeah.
And he, when he was up here, like he would do a lot of DJing at events and things like that. And so he always had like the huge speakers in the back, pointed out the window, and like that shit was so loud that even though he was upstairs, like the whole entire like area in the back, like playground, like would be just lit just
Wow.
off the speakers. So like as a kid, like I would go to sleep like with music just knocking on the walls. Like that's just the bass from the speakers and shit. So I was always like around music. You know, it was kind of always in the lineage of sorts.
Mm,
And you know, like even like, and I don't know, I feel like it's a West Indian thing, but like everybody got a set. You know, all your uncles and
mm,
you know what I'm saying. They all got a DJ set or something at home, some tunes. So I feel like in one way or another, I would have jumped into music. And where I jumped in production, it made sense because I was halfway between like being a DJ probably or probably playing an instrument. So it's like, oh, production is like a weird electronical in between. So I'll do that,
mm.
you know?
Yeah, Mr. DJ the influence over here. You already know. Of course, my man.
That's a new
Dang.
one. I gotta
Yes.
live up to that one though. I gotta earn that.
It is all good. Once again, y'all check out the brother under the influence. You'll see later on why, of course, all of these inside jokes and things happen as they do. But again, that's just a part of what I bring. But also, the brother is really very versatile, and like that's where you're gonna get to see a good range of that. As we are going through and looking at a lot of this stuff, we said, "DJ, I'm the bouncer too. Beamer boys in the building." That's what you talking about.
That's what's up.
Shout outs
Thanks
to
for
the brother
coming
too at
through.
the temple. That's my
Yes,
brother
sir.
right there. One half
Yeah.
of the Beamer boys. For y'all that don't know, y'all found
One
out.
one and one third of the three J's. You know what I'm saying? Gotta throw
Coming
that out
soon.
there.
Coming soon, y'all. Y'all see more of that coming soon. Oh man. But along with that, you already started talking a bit about your childhood and definitely your exposure to music during that time. Can you give us a little bit more of who under the influence was as a child growing up? And this doesn't have to even pertain so much to music, but again, who was under the influence as a child?
I was an only child, you know, and I traveled a lot because I went to I lived in Harlem. Well, I lived in every borough in New York except Staten Island, but
Oh wow.
for the most part, like in my later part of my development, like my teenage years, I was in Harlem, but I was commuting to Brooklyn to go to high school.
Wow.
So yeah, and then I went to a college prep program. So when I came back to Harlem, I would be there until like 7, 8 or whatever, then get home, you know, and it's like time to do that all over again. So I was very occupied, and honestly, like I was a big fan of music,
Yeah.
but I didn't really do any music. Like I didn't freestyle, I didn't write, I didn't rap, I didn't really do any of that. I just enjoyed it, you know, for a
Mm.
very, 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 very long time. And I just focused on like academics and martial arts. Like I loved martial arts. I loved anime as well, so like I was big into that. Um, and like everybody else, you know, you try to do a little cross over here and then,
Oh
pull up
yeah.
in the court, like you got game. I know I don't have it, but I tried it.
Basketball is my favorite sport. Yeah, I love the way that you already know, my man. That I think that is a staple amongst all of the schools. It didn't matter if literally you was a quote unquote nerd, you're a jock, wherever you want to put these titles and stuff. Where one place that all of these people would converge somehow, besides of course the lunchroom, was outside on the playground, especially around on the courts. If you was ready to get in,
Yeah, yeah.
man, that's so dope to hear. And speaking also of just having those experiences as a child and sharing in on all of this, what was the one thing that impacted you the most as a child? So it could either have been a saying, if it was a specific memory that just stuck with you so vividly to now, or just as you think of it randomly, like what was one memory that impacted you as a child?
Mm, wow. I'm trying to think. Should I give a good one or a bad one?
Uh,
Um,
all all the above, brother. If you want to go multiple sides with it, it's all on you, bro. Look, it's up for interpretation.
um, okay. I think I had an impactful moment when I was in college, like early, like
Mm,
when I first got to college, and that was the fact that like win, lose, or draw, I had to pick up the pieces.
mm,
So even if I were to fail at something, I had to minimize that loss. I had to minimize that failure because I had to be ready to get back in the game to do it again or to try it again or to, find some kind of way forward. So
yeah.
that's kind of, I guess, like when the training wheels came off for me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Dust yourself off and try again, because nobody else is gonna
Mhm.
be able to try it for you unless you get up and do it on your own.
Yeah, it
Mm,
was like that real world, real life accountability. Like,
mm,
okay, I got to do something. I can't just sit here with an L on my chest. Like,
yep.
oh, so.
And however you again use that L, whether it can be a total loss and failure, and it can lead down to a different spiral, or that can be turned into a lesson to help again with what you said, to pick up those pieces and keep running with it
Hmm.
as you progress through. Because honestly, as much as we can rely on others and have those different support systems within our life, or even if you don't have those particular support systems in your life, there's going to become a moment, time, and place where all of the stuff that you're going to have to do is all up to you. Your decisions that you make, the ultimate quote unquote final decisions, those are all up to you. You can't have nobody make the decisions for you. Nobody can walk your feet like you do, all those different things. So now, yeah, like, so that's solid, becoming anti-fragile. It
Hmm.
says Eddie from Cleveland. The brother ends up saying, yes, 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 yes. Eddie of Cleveland, I should say, but he is from
Thanks.
as well. And shouts out to everybody right now that's watching the
Word.
interview and it's just here, man. Thank you so much for the love and support for the brother under the influence, as well as just for more interviews as a platform. So thank y'all so much. At the same token, if y'all got some questions, throw them in there, because I got a plethora of questions, of course, that I have in there. Some that I did not share. So the brother's gonna be like, oh, so we got some didn't share, as well as so y'all can also have the interaction. And if y'all have a question that you're just curious for to get an answer from under the influence, he'll be able to answer the influence for y'all. So please be ready for it. Right. On top of all of that, brother, um, get into some more punchlines with it, because when I get to listen to your music again, I hear a lot of versatility, as well as, again, you spoke on Kanye and I don't know any few others, but can you tell us who are your influences besides yourself?
um, let me see. Kanye West can't say that enough. But I was really big into Nas.
Mm,
I was big into Biggie. Um, really big into the Dipset. I mean, I lived through the Dipset era. Like I was in Harlem when Dipset was Dipset.
mm,
As a teenager, like that was so you know that was a big thing. Uh, there were lots of influences, I would say. But as far as like what moved me, what like really inspired me the most, and kind of ironically, I would say would be anime.
mm,
Because like just the presentation, the storytelling, um, just like the different elements, like to me, it just it interested me in a way that I was like, this, if I could do this, but musically somehow, like it would be fire. And then there were like AMVs, which were animated music videos back
yes,
in the day.
mm-hmm.
But like, I almost felt like kind of like what's happening now with emo trap. Like this could be a genre. Like this could be a thing in itself. And now, ironically, moving forward, almost 10 plus years, I'm doing an emo trap album, right? So it's
Mm,
like it's kind of like it's coming full circle all these years later. Like, oh, I can actually manifest my idea and put it in a form that is consumable, and not like misunderstood. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
So, um,
Wow.
yeah, I've had a lot of different influences, man. Besides myself, I would say I probably wasn't my own influence until very recently. Because
Mm,
I would always look, at other artists like, I know I do this pretty well, but man, I like they're on like Saturn with that shit, or they're on Jupiter with that shit, and I need to get over there. I need to find a way to do that, and I really didn't have the confidence and the focus to just say, wait a minute, I have everything right here, like, or like
yes.
I might be the brightest star in the room, but I'm not paying attention to me because I'm like, oh, I need that or I need this, and so now that I've internalized it, you know what I'm saying? I've
Yeah.
traveled the universe and now I've come back and I'm like, okay, where do I fit in all of this? You know, what is there for me to do in this?
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to find so much more on the inside than I could ever find when I was looking on the outside for that validation.
Woo. And that's such a beautiful, again, culmination of you adding all that together. And for me to put it in more pun word terms, you have to study the influence to become the influence.
Yes, yes, that's a fact.
That was, and that's very, very telling again of your story and how you made these, again, these cycles and these transitions as you went through, and you started to, again, create the art from wherever your stages were. And as you studied and became not only a student of the game, but also wanted to become, quote unquote, a rhyme master or just a master of the game in general, in all aspects, that's when you started to notice that all other things outside can become additions to what's brewing already there on the inside as you cultivate it. And yeah, y'all will definitely see with a lot of the stuff that the brothers put out that he cultivates a lot. Not only pulling from his influences, but just based off of what he has to bring and what he offers. So I see that as again is it's a beautiful process, and thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And with that on top of there too, because yes, y'all probably been hearing me. Yes, I've been doing multiple flips to his name. That's just how it goes. Okay. But for those wanting to know about your name, please tell us again, what's the significance of your name and where did it come from?
All right, so I was previously Jay Banger. I
Mm.
know doesn't sound like me, right? Doesn't sound. But no, for a long time I was J Banger when I was in 346 for many years, and when I had finally kind of stepped away from the group and made the decision to be solo, I knew that I had to rebrand myself. As long
Mm,
as I was J Banger, people would immediately put the two together, and not that I, don't want to be or don't want to, it's just I need people to know that there's a separation and that this is a new chapter in a sense.
yes.
So that's why I made the initial decision. But as far as the name was concerned, at the time I was more of a conscious rapper.
Mm,
So I was like, I want something that I can like put out that would fit within like a lineup of today with like all the Lils and the
the Youngs and
yeah, the Youngs and all that stuff, but wouldn't necessarily be out of place. So
mm,
like if you saw like a lineup of like Lil this, Lil that, Young this, Young that, and then Under the Influence, you might think like, okay, he gonna do something like that. And then I get on stage and I'm like actually hitting you with like some conscious rap that, has the same bop to it, but I'm actually saying something behind it. Now you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Kind of like the dog pill method,
mm.
so that's kind of where it started from. But since then it's kind of evolved into many, many of things. And but visually and to the audience, that's what I wanted it to do, and I think it does do that.
Definitely, it definitely does. I mean, I would say my first initial hearings as well as introductions to you, especially with the name Under the Influence. Of course, I'm already thinking of like literally being engaged in all of the drinking and all these other different things. I think when you're
Mm-hmm.
under the influence and that type of realm. But again, meeting you and hearing in the songs and things that you're creating, not saying that it conflicts, but it shows just the spectrum of your variety as an artist as well as an MC. So it's super dope. We got questions in the chat that I definitely want to make sure that I don't forget and we get to. We got questions from some rhyme masters, fellow folks, as well as we'll have more on the way. But one of the brothers asks, what will your music sound like in the next 10 years? Since we heard that the now 10 years that it took, now you're into the emo rap and things, which you're going to have a question about that after. But predicting into the future, what will your music sound like in 10 years from now?
Oh God. Oh, 10 years from now, I legit would want to put out an R&B album. I don't know why. I don't know why,
R&B
but
John in the building.
R&B, I feel like it's there. I need to get it out somehow, but you know, takes practice, takes work.
Yes. See, again, wide range. You never know. All right, that's dope. I'm with that. I'm definitely with
Yeah.
that. Get to hear you on some singing on some vocals. We get some snippets here and there on what you got here. And again, for those who don't know, I'm gonna keep saying it. Yes, if you want to go and check out the brother Under the Influence, it is UNDER the as in THA and then influence. I'm not going to spell the rest because this is not a spelling bee, but y'all can see it up there. And please check this brother out again so then you can get what these references and what we're talking about when it comes to music. And we'll get to that portion, especially of the particular project that we're going to be talking about, as well as we got some treats for y'all that the brother wants to share as well. So,
Sure.
second question that we got from the chat is, and it's just a whole thing, so just listen with me. How do you interpret your art and the emo rap movement? Is it a collage of influences or is it working to make it a statement? So first question we'll just go and then we'll do the second half. So the first part is, how do you interpret your art in the emo rap movement?
Okay. So From what I've heard of emo rap, because it's new and a lot of the artists are young, there, in my opinion, there lacks a certain depth to the stories that they're telling. You know, it's like it's a lot of emotion, it's a lot of vibes, it's a lot of, but there isn't really like an elevated lyricism to go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like, okay, I can match that energy very well with lyricism because it's very similar to a lot of the music I was making when I first started.
Mm.
I was kind of in that zone when I was first rapping, and I kind of changed it to become more commercial over time because I was trying to diversify my skills and make different type of records. But with this, it's kind of like I could go back to that default space and write from there, but give like I guess more clearer perspectives
Yeah.
and and narratives than just, oh, I feel bad, I popped this pill because I was mad, man, I feel glad. Like, what? We need more than that. They
Yeah.
deserve more than that. So it just felt like, why not do it? I'm perfect. I'm the perfect man for the job. Just get it done. So here I am.
He's the man for the job, okay? So you need to hire the influence for this, all right? Please do it. The second part of that question is it a collage of influences or is it working to make a statement? Like, as in to make it a statement. So is it, yeah, a collage of like every little pieces from here to there, or are you, are you working to make it, I guess, a statement or something to be said, or both?
Um, I'm trying to make a statement. I'm trying to make it something to be said because I want, very similar to like how when mumble rap first popped up
Yeah,
and everybody's like, nobody in mumble rap got bars. Now you got mumble rappers with bars. I feel like I want to be that for emo trap. Like, oh no, we got some emo trap artists out here with bars. And just for clarification, I want to
yeah,
say, since I first heard like emo trap like a while back,
yeah,
since then there's been incredible talent
yeah,
that I've come across since then. So I'm not trying to make it seem like everybody doing emo trap today is trash. Like, not at all. There are lots of very talented artists that I've run into that I'm like, wow, no, this shit's gonna blow off the lid,
yeah,
and this might be like the new trap music. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like how drill's getting huge, like emo trap, I feel like that's gonna bubble pretty soon. So
mm,
um, that's I just wanted to clarify that. I don't want people to take offense to what I'm saying because I'm not trying to come in judgy or anything like that.
yeah. Okay. So, all right, y'all, don't cancel the influence for what he's saying. All right, all right. This is just, again, this is a back and forth within the interview. So please don't cancel the influence. You need to listen to the influence. Um, on top of that, brother, with sharing that and really getting into that realm of, again, emo rap and describing yourself. The next question I got for you, brother, is if you had to describe yourself to someone, picking a song or an album that is not your music, what song or album would that be?
I'm thinking it would be a Timberland production.
Mm. Hmm.
And the only reason why I go Timberland is because of his amazingly weird but high energy godlike transitions with
Oh,
random noises. Like, you can't predict where he's going, but he just goes there, and that shit is like magic every time. So for me, I feel like that describes me. Like,
mm.
not only just like my transition, but also like as a producer, like that's the type of shit I try to do when I really go in that bag. That's what I was saying earlier about post production and
Action.
doing all this. I'll do some Timberland shit and then throw some clips and quotes and sound bites and all types of sample and put a whole collage together. And you're like, where's the space for the rapper? And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. so, so yeah, Timberland for sure.
Okay, I'm with that. Nice. That was a new debut of a question, y'all. So appreciate you. First one with that question. So thank you for sharing and doing that, my man. Um, with that, of your, creation, the transitions, the moving in, the making of your art and the music. I know I've got to hear it before on another episode that I've had on What's the Word, and you spoke about it a while back for me. But for those who are here, can you walk us through your creative process? What is it, and how does it look, and how does it sound, et cetera, et cetera?
Um, so initially, I used to be a very linear writer. So like I would have to do everything like one song at a time, one one verse at a time, like one bar at a time. Like I was very much one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
But then I came across Desmond at Rhyme Masters and started focusing on freestyling, and that really unlocked many different levels or gateways for those Rock Lee fans out there, that just kind of really jump started my production. And now um, I I work I work off balanced on my feet, upside down. Like it doesn't matter anymore. Like all
Mm,
the gates have, I feel like all the gates have been unlocked now. Yeah, and I say that because this album that we're talking about, Life Under the Influence, was birthed from a segment I did in December of, I think, the year prior, called Hooks on the Daily.
mm,
And I legit did a new hook, recorded it, put out a post every day for that entire month. And I want to say 85% of this album came from those hooks.
mm.
And at the time when
Wow.
I did those hooks, I had no verses built. So they were just concepts with beats. Some beats were partial beats, wasn't even full beats yet.
Hmm.
And then we were able to, me and Lex Not Benz, the other half of the equation, we were able to kind of stitch together an album with just the hooks alone.
Mm.
And then from there determine like, okay, is this what we want? And
Yes.
once we knew what we wanted, then we fleshed out each of those songs
Okay.
in a way that it made sense, all belonging together. So definitely the complete opposite of what I was doing as J Bank. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like I've really turned the tables on its side, flipped it upside down, and now I'm able to just create in new ways. And
Yes.
I also want to shout out Desmond again because he put me
Rhyme
on
Masters in the building, y'all.
to,
He'll be on
because
later.
yes, sir, because he put me on to a book called Songwriting Without Boundaries, I believe,
Oh.
and that that book has kind of like started to like inform me more about different creative writing techniques. So ever since I started dabbling in that, now I feel like my storytelling has jumped up a couple levels, and I haven't even
Mm.
gone through a good portion of that book yet. So yeah, I gotta say, just encountering Desmond and the Rhyme Masters group has set me on a path to just elevate my music and my production in new ways that would not have happened on my own. So I gotta really thank the community for that,
Mm-hmm.
So and that's why I'm here now, speaking with you, right?
Yeah.
So I'm part of the community. So
Have to thank the influence, you know? So grateful for all of the not only help, support, and different just ears and creatives to not only listen to what you have, but you know, give you that energy. Yes, you saw that comment, didn't you? Yes, she did. I saw that comment as well too, didn't you? Yeah, yeah. He said it. Guess what? 10 years in the making. So what? So that's gonna be 2032. So you gotta wait for them to be dropping on the flow. Later on down there. But I was playing. But again, thank y'all again for all the commenting and the love and the support. I see every single one of y'all in there. I can't again go through all the names, but if y'all do still have questions as we're continuing through, please throw them down in the comments. It is well appreciated. I will get to the question and add it into the queue. So thank y'all for that. Now before we hop into talking about the project, so we can get into that, I want to switch over to the segment that I like to call Fun Questions. And I say this all the time. They may not be fun to you, but they're definitely fun to me. So for everyone along with Under the Influence, y'all can join the influence. And if y'all have any of these questions that y'all want to, that I'm going to share, you can answer them down in the comments as I'm asking them as well too. So everyone is invited to participate in this part here. So again, fun questions. Maybe fun for you, maybe not, but it's fun for me. So the first one I got is always a would you rather question. Always have
Okay.
that there. It's just a staple. So listen closely. Not only you, everybody else, even that person I see over there later on Instagram and YouTube. Pay attention. Um, would you rather walk into a room full of snakes, survive, but be hesitant of things that move like a snake? So that's the first one. Or dive into a pool of sharks, survive, but lose sleep when thinking about sharks or water.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can you say the first one more time?
So enter a room full of snakes,
Mm-hmm.
survive, but be hesitant of things that move like a snake. So
Okay.
sometimes if you get on a roller coaster and it starts moving in a wave of like a snake, then it's like you start getting hesitant. You want to jump on roller coasters. I'm not saying fearful. I'm not saying extremely scared. You're
Yeah,
just
you just
like,
said hesitant.
okay,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. So like, things of that sort. Or again,
Uh-huh.
you dive in to pull the sharks, you survive, but you lose sleep when you think about the sharks as well as any body of
Okay.
water.
Snakes.
Mm,
Yeah,
why is
because
that? Okay.
the trick to that one, in my opinion, is the water and moving like a snake. Because if you look at the ocean, waves, ripple, all of that moves like a snake. So it's like, which is the worst repercussion? Losing sleep over thinking
Mm,
about water, or
yeah.
just being hesitant when thinking about water? So that's why I'm going with snakes.
Yeah.
But
You
in
read
real
between the
life,
lines.
I don't like snakes, and I definitely don't like sharks. I was not a fan of Baby Shark when it first hit. All right.
Yeah, the doot doots, none of that. The only doot doots that we know is from Nardwar, okay, but not the baby shark. Oh man. Yeah, see, we got Jay Charlie ended up saying snakes. I love my sleep. I feel that. I feel that. Exactly. I feel that. All right. That's what's up. I'm with it. I would have also chose the snakes as well too. Yes, because I agree with what you said as well as Jay Charlie. I definitely treasure my sleep as well as if I'm just hesitant about it, that gives me a second to think about what I'm going to do. Besides just jumping straight into it. And now every time I'm thinking about water, I can't even go to I can't go to any water parks because of the fact that I'll lose sleep over just looking at the water. It won't even get in. Man, I couldn't chill at a beach.
You couldn't even fly.
That is very true.
Half the journey is looking at water.
uh, ah, man. If whoever wants to choose with the sharks and things, man, shoot all power to you. insomnia man or woman is what you gonna be. Now, the next fun question or thing that I have for you is finish this line. So I'm gonna say a line, and whatever comes to mind, you finish it.
Okay.
Okay. So the line is, I tried to save my
Cat.
but
It saved itself.
tried to save the cat, but it saved itself. Okay.
I'm. I know that sounds real off, but I was dog sitting recently,
mm,
and we have a cat. So at one point, the cat and the dog were about to confront each other,
mm,
and we like, oh, we gonna have to jump in because the cat going. But the cat was chilling, like standing his ground and pretty much sunning the dog on the steps. So I was like, oh, he's a tough guy. All right, he don't need my protection. So I tried to save the cat, but the cat saved himself.
yeah.
True life.
This,
No cat.
no cap, no cat. You had to say, didn't have to even save the influence, you know, and had to do that at all. Okay, I'm with
Shout
it.
out to Trey, my cat. You know what I'm saying? He a real one.
Cat in the hat over here. Cat in the hat. Oh man, that is wow. Did not expect that. That actually applied to something. uh, I low key try to set you up with that one, but because it's stemming from my favorite thing that happened in the Rhymemeister cipher. When we had to talk about that one way ticket. I remember I tried to say I was. Oh yes, it was rigged. I was setting you up with that line. It was rigged, premeditated. Yeah. Sorry for those that's like, what the heck is going on here? Again, y'all will learn later on once I have the brother and founder of Rhyme Masters come in, and you'll figure out a lot of these inside jokes and where they come from. So as we go later, last thing I got for you is a scenario. And again, listening, this is everyone too. The scenario in your minds. If you hear it, what would you do? Appreciate y'all sharing already and giving of again your answers in here. So the scenario I have for you is if you were given an unlimited budget, unlimited, so money ain't a thing,
Mm-hmm.
for anything you desired, what would you do, create, share, or etc. with that budget? Why would this ad just say your budget when I just said budget? But okay.
So if I had an unlimited card, what
Mm-hmm.
would I do with it, basically?
Mm-hmm. What would you share? Anything
Uh,
with that?
I would buy many assets of industry and then try to like redistribute not only wealth
Mm.
but infrastructure.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying, to the black and brown community. You
Mm.
know.
Give me a little bit more to that of like again being able to
Yeah,
redistribute
yeah.
that, and how would that like as in what is that looking like? Would that be like creating unions? Would that be able to create
No,
new
no, no,
things?
no. It would be like legit, like buying up like certain, like, so let's say like oil industry, like,
Mm.
okay, like we're gonna purchase like these companies, or like, oh, these, we're gonna purchase these banks, oh, we're gonna purchase these, you know, electrical companies, or these or like a Pico, or something like
Okay.
that, where it's
Okay.
like okay, now we have stake in the game. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? In a real way, because it's not just a distribution of wealth or here's more opportunity, but it's like, no, like you're a part of what actually drives the country forward.
Yes.
And so we have to include you. We have to have that talk, those conversations. We can't no longer we can't do things in the same way that we used to.
Mm.
So I feel like that's what I would do with the money to have the greatest impact.
Okay.
Essentially giving us multiple seats at the table, multiple seats and many tables versus just the big ones or just the small ones.
Yes. And under the influence is for the community, y'all. It's for the community. That's really I didn't even imagine, I didn't say if I thought about doing anything like that, but I think that's very, very profound and very, again, telling of not only your character or just where you're at, as in knowing that it not only, takes just one person, but, a community, a village, and things to, prosper and to thrive. And just because one person, quote unquote, made it out the hood or just made it out and got a better situation, it come back and give that to everyone. Yes, yes, influence for the kids. Yes, yes. I was gonna say it, but some of the songs on there sometimes can get a little rated, so it may not be for the kids. But yeah, you know, you gotta babysit the influence and do all of that stuff. But yes, man, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful answer and response. Yes, for the community, y'all, for the community. Now, moving back to that. So thank y'all to everyone who joined in with that too. Those were all my fun questions and fun scenarios. They weren't well, some of them were uncompleted scenarios, but they were completed, brother, as well as y'all's answers. So thank y'all for that. Now let's go ahead and let's jump into main portion and really also besides coming to know under the influence. You already there, Biggs. Look at Big. We about exactly just big brain over here. Big brain. So now, for those again who do not know who you are, and I'm gonna give a little bit more is more recently a project that Under the Influence just dropped is called Life Under the Influence. And again, you want to check that stuff out. If you're not following here on Instagram, you can check over here. If you're here, you can go up there to the tab, click on it, and just follow the brother, as well as he's on all other different streaming platforms and again social media. So I'll have him plug that later. But the project that we're speaking about right now is called Life Under the Influence, and you can find this streaming everywhere as well. So getting into that, brother, can you, thank you, put it in there it is, music under it, all there. We'll get all of this too later as it comes as well too. So with that, tell us a little bit about this project. Tell us a little bit about Life Under the Influence.
All right. So one is my debut album. So very proud, very happy to have brought it into this world with the help of so many others. And it was supposed to be a summertime vibe. Like that's what it was intended for. But a couple things happened and things got delayed, but I was able to still get it out. And thankfully, while it was intended to be a summertime vibe, the energy of it kind of just was a vibe in itself. So the timing, I feel like, wasn't as important, after hearing it all together. So,
Yes.
But that's kind of where it came from. It was supposed to drop during the summer, which is why I did that Drake freestyle. I think What's Next, and
Yep.
then and at the end I was like, summertime, summer, yeah, my album gonna drop. So,
Again, you wrote with the flow of life and knowing that again, we can have certain times and certain details when things are to come out, but when they come out, they'll come out in their own due process. And again, you saw how that still caught a vibe in itself, no matter if you had dropped that in January, July, or even towards November. Like, it was still able to sustain again its own place regardless of the time. So with that, adding with that to the project, and before I get to the to Big's question, um, why did you create this album in the first place? Like why Life Under the Influence, and that being the first, again, debut?
So I wanted to definitely play off of my namesake, right, Under the Influence, and kind of what floats off in your mind. And it fit perfectly with the idea of summertime, because this was the summer after COVID. So
Mm,
it's like everyone's going to be on their worst behavior, turned up, whichever way that they like to get turned up, just enjoying themselves. And I wanted to provide a vibe, an energy, something to like go along with all of that.
yes.
Um, and that's where like Life Under the Influence kind of came from. Just kind of being on like a different vibration and just living your best life, kind of being high on life in a sense, which is a part of why I'm upside down, and like the lights are all
Mm,
spooked out and stuff, kind of like I'm tripping, but not in like a super pill popping kind of way, but just like on an energy, kind of spectrum, like on a vibration, on a cerebral level. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
But I know that the interpretation is always going to first go to, oh, we getting lit. You know what I'm saying? So I like that it presents you with that, but then when you listen to the scope of the project and go back to the picture, it still fits. It doesn't feel like it's out of place, even though that's not exactly what you're getting. Now that you've heard it all.
mm. Now that you heard the influence and Life Under Influence, you still, again, you got the whole spill and fill of it, regardless.
hmm And I really wanted to just like establish myself as an artist, because I rebranded myself. I had dropped like a few different mixtapes and things like that, or little projects here and there, but I didn't drop an album. I didn't, and to me, it didn't solidify. Like I didn't feel like I could solidify myself as an artist if I'm not doing what an artist does, and an artist produces an album. So I'm like, all right, I
Mm,
got to get the album done. The debut has to take place so that now I'm here. It's been submitted. It's stamped. I can't say I was never here. I was never an artist. I'm in stores. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't cross that line now.
yes.
So that was just a milestone for me. Me and my
Yeah.
personal development, my personal growth. Um, so yeah, that, and then of course showing my range, all my influences, all the things that inspire me, all the things I like to play with, experiment with, and just kind of go all over the place, but tell a fun story in a way as well.
Yes. You had to begin the influence so you can welcome the influence and do it properly. I told you this was gonna happen, brother. Hey, do this. We can do this forever. I'm just playing. But again, but in a serious note, that's very true for definitely a lot of artists, and also folks having that hesitancy to, you know, jump into those waters and really solidify themselves as stepping into being an artist or doing music because of not only how much time, effort, and energy they can put into it, but also that inner critic telling them, you may not be able to do this very well. You may be terrible at this, or there's already somebody out there doing that. Why should I even have to worry about doing that? And just a number of, again, competing thoughts and ideas that are stopping from you just, again, doing it for not only the love, but the passion in it to really
Mhm.
get into just the art itself, rather than worrying about where that's all fully going to take you, but enjoying that ride, but saying that, yo, I dropped something, I'm here, versus being a person. And I was talking to a coworker about this at work, being that person that's like, yeah, man, shoot, I got like these 10 songs, man, and they coming out, man, it's about to be the most hot thing that you ever heard. And then be like, people be like, oh yeah, man, shoot, where can I check that out and stuff? It's like, oh yeah, no, man, I'm still tweaking and doing a few things with it, and like before I do, man, but it's gonna be the hottest thing you ever heard. Like, you got anything, like any samples for us to hear? Like, nah, everything hasn't been recorded yet, but yo, man, off the top, it's just about to be crazy. And that goes on for years and years and years and years
Mhm.
on, and nothing is to show that, okay, you're saying you're this, but are you building that resume?
Yep.
So this is a debut album building of that resume, okay?
Yep.
You have to work the influence. I already said it before, but we're gonna put it back in there.
Yeah.
So
That's like the same reason why it was important for me to have my own website as well. You know, because
mm,
like so many people that I knew that were doing it, they were just like on SoundCloud or on this or on that, like or even like that Piff and things, but no
yes.
one had like a legit like website like you could just go to and just consume my content, you know, and just mine alone. I think no, let me say some. No Mercy, he had his own website at the time because he was doing blogs and battle rap stuff. So like, and he was directing music videos and stuff. So he was the only person in my circle growing up that like legit had a website. But like
Mm,
outside of that, like nobody else had a website. So I was just like, yo, I'm gonna just do a website for my music. Like I just feel like that will put me a step above other artists when I'm like walking around like, hey, come check me out, da da da. Where can I find you? I'm like, oh well, just go to my website. You know what I'm saying? Versus you got an IG, you got a Twitter account, and they're
yeah,
like, I don't have that. And you're like, oh well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, nah, you got a computer, right? You
yeah,
got Google, right? All right, cool. Type this in, and you're gonna find everything. So yeah, just
awesome.
trying to yeah. I guess I'm trying to dot the I's and cross the T's and just kind of like do things in a way that is polished.
Mm,
That makes sense.
yeah, and as you're getting better, that's not only part of the point, but that's also what just naturally happens too. As you create and put more stuff out, as you start to really start to hone in, sharpen, and polish, your craft. So for all my artists that's out there still, hesitating or thinking about not wanting to do anything or put anything out, whatever that track you're playing right now you think ain't the best or whatever it is, put it out. Just put it out. Put it out as is. And then from there you're gonna grow and you're gonna learn about again, the whole process of just putting out music and running it down the right lanes and all of that stuff. You can look this stuff up, but put yourself in that space to be able to do so, because then that's where you're gonna see the growth. You're gonna see
Mm-hmm.
that. And if you don't do that, don't I'm gonna say this, don't set your expectations so high to the point where it scares you away from wanting to do anything. Don't come out here trying to come out and have studio quality off the top already commercial setup songs from the start, and you should be hitting and banging already. You got to be able to put in the work in that time, and don't be afraid to do so. You got your resources. If you have resources, reach out to your resources. Again, community, whatever it may end up being. But if you're hesitant right now, I'm telling you now, drop that song, drop that art piece, drop that that title of a book you want to share with folks or whatever it is. Just drop it.
Mm-hmm.
See the responses. You never know. Because I will say this, and we'll keep pushing on with it too. I go back and some of the tracks I feel like I didn't even should never have dropped or put out there. Most interestingly, is some people's favorite tracks and how they've again really gravitated to them and said, yo, this song in particular, man, it really made me, really think about this, or honestly, it helped me get through some things. And I was, again, very shocked because I'm like, yo, me, how I did that song, man, I wish I would have spit the verse this way, or dang, I wish I would have had my
Mm-hmm.
highs up again, which I'll say this too. There's always a time to go back and do a remix or a remaster or a reversion of whatever that song is. So just know, even though you put it out, you can go back and make another remaster and reversion of it. But with me doing all of that, going back into this project, brother, how long did it take for you to come up with not only just the title, but all of the moving pieces with the tracks and all together? How long did it take you?
So after doing the hooks on the daily for December, like I said, I had like roughly 85-90% of it right there content wise,
Yeah.
and a lot of it was just curating like the order and if things should be added, what should be added. So I would say that whole process itself probably took maybe 2 weeks once we like really got on the ball.
Yeah.
But it was the completion of getting everything written, recorded, mixed, mastered, and put together, um, and also all the different collaborations as well that really consumed a lot of the time. But at
Gotcha.
least I had direction that entire time. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And like we legit treated it like it was like some project management. Like every song had its own folder with directives, what needed to
Yeah.
get done, where things were. That's done. Move on to this. Get that recorded. Plug and play. So it was like very systematic.
Yeah.
Took a long time, but it was a very deliberate and systematic approach to getting the work done.
There it is. Okay. I'm with that. And the question that we had from Big, and I'm not gonna say the whole thing, Big Slim, if I'm correct. Question
Breezy,
is,
the other person in 346 I was talking about.
yeah, hey, shout outs to Breezy, shout outs to you, brother. Um, what is your favorite track? Or I should say, what's your favorite song off the new project? It says.
Mm. It's a new project. Give me 1 second, cause I always go back and forth. I always go back and forth because I there's so many that I love. So all right, I know his favorite is Sun Up. I know that
mm,
hands down. But I personally love Soul Searching. Um,
mm,
because again, 10 years from now, I want to do R&B, right?
yep.
Soul Searching was my R&B moment on this album,
Mm,
um, especially with the hook. So that to me is one of my personal favorites. But if I had to choose something else, it would probably be Propellers, and here's why. Um, it was a song I never expected to do,
hmm.
if that makes sense. Like I didn't know that it would become what it became, but I just loved it so much that I couldn't not have it on this album.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it was like I don't know what's going on here, but and this was one of the first songs done. Period. Like, before many of the rest of them. That was already zipped up, done, put a bow on it, and I was just like, I don't know what this album's gonna be, but that's gonna be somewhere in this lineup. So
Yep.
um
Fly
it's between those two.
propellers. Mm, mm.
Uh,
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, brother, and I definitely will say this: the album is definitely a journey. And shouts out to you earlier back on again, and us being able to have the listening party and get to experience it in full. Man, that was such a grand and great experience to have. And I would definitely say it was an experience, 1,000%. And what I really did also like and really just get from the project, which honestly, bro, you had inspired me after that to just start going in and pinning stuff, which then I ended up dropping my project for the moment. So I appreciate you putting that extra energy and battery in me to get that done and just put that out there in the world. You had a really, again, strong start, and you kept that wave as you continue through. And for me, man, a lot of the tracks towards the end are very strong. Like, man, like all the way down almost from like No Scrubs all the way down to Astronomical Astronauts. Like, bro, they're super strong. And if I had to choose a few of them, of course, for me, one of the first ones, I made a joke to it earlier, is Incomplete Scenarios. I love the production on that and just
Thank
where you're
you.
going with it, as well as I'm going to be super biased, of course. I love my brothers from Rhyme Masters. Of course, my favorite one on there going to be Soul Searching with both you and Two at the Temple, as well as Counting Candles. Like, I'm not going to even lie. Like, man, the
Yeah.
Counting Candles is bro. I was riding home from work today, listening to that again, and I'm not gonna tell you, every time I hear your parts on that, bro, as well as when Dez comes in and he speaks
Yes.
his, bro, like I didn't even
Yes.
want to like cry, but like, bro, like I still feel that emotion, like something wanted to well up every time I hear that. So man, like that on there, and then of course in the background is playing, yo Kanye esque astronomical astronauts. Like that production on that them switches, bro, was
Thank you.
bruh. So yeah, there's a lot of them, but if I had to just pick one and just in particular again, yes, I will say uncompleted scenarios. But man, again, that last half, bro, is strong.
And yo, funny enough, uncompleted uncompleted scenarios was the first song that was done. That was also wrapped up in a bow. That was literally the first song. Like before I even thought album, that song was sitting. And then when album came up, it was we need that song. So yeah,
Mm,
shout out to Lex Nada Benz because she inspired me to even do that song. I was really working on another song,
yeah,
and then she said, "Nah, you need to fuck with this, and then do something different." So from there, like I switched my whole production, my whole approach, learned some new things, got some new plugins, started tweaking some settings, and
mm,
it just transformed after that. So that really birthed the production of everything else.
mm,
Um, and I'm very happy with it because that's self produced. You mentioned astronauts and the sisters that's self produced.
yeah,
So yeah, like your description of the album is correct. Like the bottom half,
yeah.
definitely a lot of content. And when I was still like doing my my stuff on Spotify, sorry, not Spotify, on SoundCloud and like all the free accounts and stuff, I put out an album, the last 346 album that we did called Nutrition and Bars, and I
Mm,
noticed something that kind of upset me, and that was that people really only listen to like maybe the first 4 or 5 songs, and then
mm,
after that, it's like they don't get to the rest, and I'm like, the rest is amazing. What the are y'all
yeah,
doing? Listen,
yeah,
so coming into my own, I was like, I have to make them listen to the second half.
yeah,
I have to force that onto them. Like the feeling of you're missing out if you don't listen to the whole thing.
yes,
And to hear you give that critique about the bottom half being so strong, to
yeah,
me, it feels like I did that,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Because again, when y'all check it out, or any of those of you who have checked it out, you'll see that it is definitely strategically set up the way that it's set up. Because some of the first half of the songs, it's cool. I'm saying like it definitely does its part with the ones that are here. I mean, like I do like Telethon Money as well too, but
Self
there's
produced.
yes, bruh. I'm just saying. As well as I get like she dancing and stuff, shout outs to the essential twerkers out there, but like again, I get the setups and the means, but man, like again, like I said, it kept that certain ebb and flow, but when it got down to that last half, it's just yes, it was just so powerful. It's just like dang. Usually people have a difficult time with ending strong. They'll come out like strong and give you all that they have, but it's like it sounds like it drags on towards the end. And for yours, it just picked up, and it makes sense with the last song. Astronaut again, we spoke
Mm-hmm.
about it before, but it just makes so much sense when again saying it out here again. So for sure, man. With that too, and the last bit of it before we get into y'all got the treats. We got some song showcases for y'all for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Some world premieres, even though they're already out, but still some world premieres for y'all to still listen to. The last thing I wanted to add for with the album too is you can give me one or if it's many of what's the takeaway message or messages for your listeners from this album. What do you want them to take away from it?
I just want them and everyone else to know that I'm here.
Mm.
I'm present. I'm at the table. Let's talk. That's all. Because if there's one thing that I would constantly tell my wife, and we always have these discussions, is like, she's like, you should focus on your production. You should, do that and then kind of transition over and do rap once you kind of build that. But my whole thing was like, no, I need people to know that I rap. I
Yeah.
need that to be my calling card. Not, oh, you do production. Oh, you can rap too. No, I when I walk into the room, I want people to go, oh, he rap. That's what I want. And for me, I feel like this album does that.
Yeah.
He rap. He raps. Okay, yes. I produce too, but I want you to know I rap. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I accomplished that.
Yes. To make it short, okay? Believe the influence, y'all.
Believe. Yes.
Believe
I'm
the
gonna put that on the
influence.
shirt.
Hey, all these, take all of them. You already know. It's all here for you, you know? You're gonna believe the influence. You're gonna hear the influence. You're gonna see, you're gonna feel. All these, all of the different senses, you're gonna get that plus the influence. All right, y'all? You know? But
Facts.
man, beautiful, beautiful. But with that, brother, you got some songs and some treats for us. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you have for us? And I mean, I'll pull them up as we're going. So where do we want to go first with sharing these tracks out for people to hear?
Okay. That's what's up, Eddie. That's I'm looking at some of the comments.
So shout outs. I'm not the one that came up with essential twerkers, Man, shouts out to both Under the Influence as well as the brother Two at the Temple.
That was
Like
all too at the temple. He
I'm
came up with that. That was
so
all him.
so shouts out to him. If you want credit where that credit is due, literally Two at the Temple. Go follow the brother as well too.
That he was
All
the
good
other
time.
half of soul searching.
Yes. There it
The same
is.
one. The
Right
other
there.
half of soul searching right there. Shout out to Melbourne, Australia. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So what was I say? Oh, so basically I wanted to give y'all some treats today. Because there were many of songs that were left on the table for this album. Um, so I figured it'd be fun to kind of showcase a little bit of that, just to kind of give those who were at the listening party something new, in case you were there for that. But if you're brand new to me and what I do, then this is a good little spot for you to get an introduction as well. So,
Yes.
one of my longtime friends, the person that did the actual album cover, that was selected at the listening party.
Mm-hmm.
One of my day ones, K Maddox, he 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 asked me to do a song called Murphy in the Sun, and it's a reggae song. And I'm a full-blooded Jamaican, but I was born in the States, and so I don't have the accent. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stretch myself. I'm gonna give it a try, and this is what it turned into.
Like Murphy in the summertime. Hold up, roll up. Let me get the session started right. Ready for the function for the night. Ladies, wear your outfits skin tight. Turn up, butt up. Pre-roll, prepare precise. Reefer, relay, real nice. Inside sunlight, real bright. Living sounds like heaven. Just as dice, my love in my red red. Pop, pop, don't pass for the blessing. Too much OG for the stress. 7-Eleven sounds like heaven. Kiss the sky, spread love to my brethren. Pump up, don't pass on a blessing. Too much poetry. Every time I lose my head, I like my spliff, I like my spliff. Every night right before bed, I like my spliff, I like my spliff. Every night I lose my head, I like my spliff, I like my spliff. Every night right before bed, I like my spliff, I like my spliff. Fast to that chip on the left hand side. Police a combo with the answer eye. Where everything in the sky legalized. On a no stream, and I get a test drive. Strong with it, strong vibes, strong herb lift me to the skies. Colors press still not the skies. Coffee all a fresh, me need a baptize. See the blessings that come, them can't done. But mine never come with them anger. Plastic Guinness where you have for. Peace of mind on the outcome. Me a smoke till I'm my lungs. Big hip on the spliff at a shotgun. Big pipe for the girl, them a want some. I'm smoke my body for the ransom. Every time I shake my dreads, I like my spliff, I like my spliff. Every time she in my bed, I like my spliff, I like my spliff. Every time me I hold her leg, I like my spliff, I like my spliff. No sleeping in my bed, I like my spliff, I like my spliff. Easy we go now, easy we go now. Easy we go now, easy we go now, easy we go now. Yeah. Easy we go now, easy we go now, easy we go now. Easy we go now, easy we go now, easy we go now. Yo, wait up, yo, wait up. I don't really give a fuck. What you do is what you want. When you pack it, talking tough.
Man,
Sir.
very, very, very. I remember already hearing this, but man, honestly, again, you talk about saying you ain't got the accent. I mean,
I worked very hard on that delivery. Trust me.
like, you mean you ain't had the accent? Like, man, like it seemed like that was mad natural.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
which I agree, Jay Charlie. Yes, vibes all day for sure. Again, and it's just showing you again the range. It's great, especially as an artist coming out, to not only be able to debut and again have a particular sound that you are strong in, but being able to dip your feet in the water into just various different sounds just again shows how wide of a range you can have. It don't matter, like, all right, throw me on an EDM beat, watch what I'm gonna do. All right, shoot, throw
Mm-hmm.
me on a reggae beat, see what's gonna happen. You know what, throw me in some R&B, some emo, some trap, whatever you want to do, I got you. So I like that. I really do. I mean, I got to hear it before, but like, man, to really like get it again and have it in this experience with you right now, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I love that song. But I was just hesitant on putting it on the album because I'm like, I'm already doing so much. I'm going to so many different places.
Yeah.
It's my first ever dipping into a reggae song, so I didn't feel 100% comfortable with putting that in there with the lineup. But I'm glad that it's still out, on streaming platforms, and I even dropped a link in the chat for those who may want to check it out. Maybe add it to your playlist or something. Share it with a friend. But yeah, that was some 420 music right there. 420, that was my
Mm-hmm.
rotation.
Mm-hmm. I like
So.
my spliff. I like my. You already know. Oh man. But all right. What's the next treat that you got for us that you want to share?
Yes. So the next one was a very early song that I did. Shout out to Blizzy Production. It's one of the homies from back when I was in New York, and he got into production, and he slid me some beats,
Yeah.
and I took one of them beats and made a banger. However, didn't end up on the album. But
Mm.
play it for you now, and I'll tell you why afterwards.
Flame God.
There's only two ways this is gonna end. You giving it to me or me taking it from you.
Production. I want you with your panties down right now, right now. I wanna see you throw it back right now, right now. Pussy make it suck away right now, right now. Pussy like a water jet, don't drown, no. Face down, ass up, yeah. Makeup running down her face. When she wake up, let it break up. The morning after she swallow me, she suck on me. As her heads up, legs up. The M.O.O.R.E in the backseat with no handcuffs. In the backseat with no handcuffs, playing two-hand touch, a touchdown to her end zone. While you fall back in that friend zone, don't look for the past, but living in the past. Got a big future, I put it in her ass. If she wanna talk shit, then I'm giving her the gas. More than one dick, make a bitch come fast like a sex toy. I'ma give her that now, like a lemon jar. Crashing your pussy like schoolboy. After class, baby, yeah, I'm a rude boy. After class, I get disrespectful. Bounce that ass on the instrumental. To keep the dirty dancing on the low, had to grip the shovel. Girl, we keep getting into trouble. Rolling that dice every day. Living in the bubble pop of the weasel. She wanna add a sequel. Why not? Put her in her place. She a thought cyclops. She my ex-man. I just open up a box. Had to kick it on the rocks. Circle in the black. Wouldn't put it back together if I wanted it to start. Time to fuck right now. Then again at 8 o'clock. For tomorrow. Let's do this shit tonight. No more time to borrow, gotta hit it right now. Right now, right now, right now, right now, right now, right now, right. I want you with your panties down right now, right now. I wanna see you throw it back right now, right now. Pussy make it suck away right now, right now. Pussy like a water jet, don't drown, no. Face down, face up, yeah. Makeup running down her face. When she wake up, let it break up. The morning after she swallow me, she suck on me. As her heads up, legs up. The M.O.O.R.E in the backseat with no handcuffs.
So yeah, it's no cuffs, man. No cuffs.
Yeah, there was definitely no cuffs. Nobody was handcuffed on this for sure. Like the gloves were off, the cuffs were off, all of that. Oh my goodness. And then the references, man, to not only again, I've noticed in some of the tracks that you do definitely around, I mean, sex and things of that sort and bedroom fun. You use a lot of sports references with a lot of a lot of the sexual references, as well as we scheduling sex now. We talk about we're gonna do it at this time, and then we're gonna come back to this time. Like, yo, oh my goodness, man. But overall, yeah, that's for it's the panty dropper. That's the panty dropper right
Yeah,
there. Big. That's
that,
one of them. That's a taste.
that's it.
That's a taste of one of the panty droppers of the R&B. Just like a taste of that. Okay, no
Fat,
cuffs at all.
no cuffs. Yeah, so
He said
yeah,
demon
demon
time.
time. Facts. So yeah, so the one of the reasons why this song didn't make the album was because I felt like it was just too much too soon. like, like even now, it's like because I like if you go through my content, like the bars that I'm saying are like stuff I've always said, like with the vulgarity and everything.
Yeah.
But it's just again, it's just so forward that I just felt like maybe not, but
Yeah, you had to give us a heads up on that one. Yeah.
I ended up replacing it with Soul Searching, which turned out to be again one of my personal favorites. Because
Yes.
I was doing my R&B job thing on it.
Yeah.
I was still talking about relationship, but now the concept was more in depth. It was more personal. It was more intuitive. So I just felt like, while No Cuffs is like that, that's like something you play in the car. That's a club banger. That's a bring shorty home and tear it up. That has applications for sure. But I feel like Soul Searching was just like, it just gave you something deeper, something more to think about. You know, it was more layers to that. And then what Jordan ended up adding to it as well, like, it just seemed like the perfect thing to fit in with those titans of songs that, you know, were already in front of it. You know, I felt like if I had put that there, like aesthetically, it would have sounded amazing, but it wouldn't have held the weight that those other songs were starting to carry as you went through the latter part of the album.
I 100% agree with that, because I already started thinking about, right when you said that, I look at the order and I'm like, yeah, so, you know, just to keep the, I was going to say coherency, but to keep not only just, like you said, the aesthetic, but to keep the consistency throughout the project, that would be a straight curveball in between those there. And again, it could go either way with how you would, you know, drop that, whether if it was like, you know, it's like, oh shoot, dang, I didn't expect that, or it's like, dang man, like I was just on a vibe with these and now this like took it the other left side real quick. I don't know. But again, still, again, like you said, applies wherever it may end up being. But yeah, thank you for that that piece, that sharing of that.
Yeah, definitely got a shout out to Blizzy Production on that. That was a banger.
Yes, and last treat that you got for us, but you know, it's not the only last one that we have. Y'all, again, you can go stream the brother on Spotify, all different places. We're gonna give you the tags later, but another at least exclusive for y'all to hear. Along with that, go ahead and share with us at least the last track that you have to share with us for tonight and for the interview.
All right, so as a thank you to everyone that's here right now, I wanted to debut a brand new record, a brand new single that's going to be on my upcoming emo trap project that's currently titled When It Gets Dark. And that's going to be a collaboration between me and M.O.O.R.E. M.O.O.R.E is a producer out of Italy, very young, talented producer. He produced Team Solo, which is one of my personal favorites, and I've heard other people echo that. So I feel like, you know, that kind of catapulted the idea of us working together on a whole project and going in that emo trap direction. Because if it wasn't for him asking me to collab and him saying, well, I do emo trap, I would have never even landed on this continent. So, you know, really got to thank him for opening the door for me to even jump into emo trap and now, you know, present a whole album, you know, about it in the near future. So this is one of our latest collabs off of that. It's called Gravity. It's inspired by a true story. But I'm just going to kind of keep those details to myself. But the individuals involved, they understand what's going on. And for those who don't, unfortunately, I'm not going to fill in the blanks. So, but just know it's real life and it's personal to me. And I hope that you can respect that. So yeah, without further ado, Gravity.
Yes. And with all of this stuff too, I know y'all hearing it through my headphones. Again, a lot of this is either already out on Spotify, as well as you see the links, which I'm going to ask, of course, you later, brother, to send me these links so then I can add them along with my post so people can click and go straight to it. So y'all can really hear it in depth and not just through my headphones. But again, here we go. Gravity.
Yeah, yeah. Talk to me. Ooh, just talk to nigga. Baby. I can't do what you do, but you know, I try. Shit, I don't know. Nothing's on me, man. Crazy how that shit turns south. You never know. For those of you who know, I know who I'm talking about. And for those who don't worry about it. Gravity is grabbing me. Decisions from my past looking back at me. Right or wrong, had to do it, don't be mad at me. Had to let you go, watch you fall like gravity. Gravity is grabbing me. Decisions from my past looking back at me. Right or wrong, had to do it, don't be mad at me. Had to let you go, watch you fall like gravity. I try to be inside with decisions. And sometimes you gotta change position when your family and friends gotta break traditions. Some niggas, time for new additions. Add to the family, new house in front, I'ma plant a tree. Right on top of learning trees, 66 green, smoking green from the balcony. Green light kept it moving like a prophecy. Need my privacy, way more than Will and Jada. They're living in Philly, so it's time to slap a hater. But jump on the grenade for my family as a savior. But Jesus ain't here, so I ain't performing favors. If you cross the line, that's it, do your time. Twisted turns ain't good for your spine. If you a coward, I encourage you to climb, so you can play Mufasa in the scene this time. Gravity is grabbing me. Decisions from my past looking back at me. Right or wrong, had to do it, don't be mad at me. Had to let you go, watch you fall like gravity. Gravity is grabbing me. Decisions from my past looking back at me. Right or wrong, had to do it, don't be mad at me. Had to let you go, watch you fall like gravity. Truth is strange and affection. True story. No happy ending. R.I.P. R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah. And that's that play out, y'all. Very.
Yeah, so hope y'all enjoyed that debut. You know, hopefully, you kind of put your own pieces together. Hopefully, it's the narrative to another story that you might know. You know, if you personalize it in your own way. But yeah, that was for me at least. That was a very personal record, and I hope that it came across as such. But I thank y'all for listening, and you know, hopefully, I enjoy what's to come later as further attachments to the Emo Trap project.
Yes. Yeah, I gotta feel the influence on this one for sure. You definitely got to. And it definitely has that, again, that feel and that vibe, and very, 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 very personal. I mean, I always love how sometimes how you use your references and how you flip them. It's poison, like, bro. You know, I love the little intricacies that you have again within the tracks and how you share them, and it's again, man, another one to add to your resume and just your overall as an artist. So thank you for sharing all of these songs and all these treats and just giving us a bit more of you and being open to sharing this stuff. So thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Just appreciate the opportunity, you know, and what you do to provide me and others like me an opportunity to just kind of speak to the people and be a voice. So thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Salute to you.
It's all love. It is all love. And yes, y'all, I got a few more questions and then we're going to be out. I know this is a doozy of one, but again, when it comes to sharing your memoir and sharing your experiences with others, what is the such thing as time and concept of time? But I still appreciate y'all's time and y'all's support for being here throughout this stream and throughout this interview. So Thank y'all so much for being here. He said that one was felt. Can't wait to hear more. Yes, yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. There's some that he has on there that are very, very catchy. That I don't know all the full names of some of them, but I remember them as different things. And when I say it, of course, you see he's laughing already right now. But that's how I remember some of this stuff. But with that, continuing, brother, I got 4 more questions for you, and then we're out for this interview. Which again, I gotta say, thank you for your openness, and thank you for taking your time to come out here and come on to more interviews and share your memoirs and share your experiences and music with us. So, thank you again for that, brother. The
I just
next,
want to, sorry, I just want to take a moment to let the people know that in the chat, I put in a link for Gravity, the song that y'all just heard on Spotify. So if y'all can listen to that now, add it to your playlist. It's up there. I also added a link to my website in case anyone wants to go there and listen to the album, see some of my other singles, things that I don't necessarily post on a Facebook or an IG. And then I also wanted to throw some love at R. the other half of this new album. So I threw his Spotify link in there as well, so you guys can check out some of his music and what else he's
yes.
working on.
And again, y'all, especially when this is put up as a post on Instagram, I'll make sure that I'll definitely I'll get y'all those links, as well as when this is on YouTube, you'll have a straight push to all of this stuff here, y'all. So again, thank y'all for being here, and y'all got the treats, and now you got the links and the treats. You know, all you need is the table, all the condiments and everything else, and you got a feast. You know, you gotta eat the influence. I was playing. No, you don't want to eat the influence, but I tried. You know, I tried. The next question that I have for you, brother, after coming along from that, then talking about not only just Gravity and then the sharing again of the tracks and songs and the personal stuff. What's one thing that no one knows about you when they look at you?
Oh, okay.
They wouldn't
Um,
guess. Like we'd be like, oh, you look at you like, I don't know. Like this dude might look like he does, you know, origami on the side. I don't know. Like,
um, so what most people don't know when they first look at me is that I'm 7'9". I appear to be 5'9", but I'm actually 7'9". So that's something that a lot of people fail to realize when they look at me, and it frustrates me a lot. But I don't. I just let it go. You know, I've learned to let it go. You know, it is what it is.
he
Nah,
was
on a
goofy as
serious,
heck. He was goofy as heck. Okay.
well, nah, on a serious note, it's gonna sound corny, but how big my smile is, and
Mm.
I know that sounds strange, but hear me out. A lot of the times I hear people tell me like, "Oh, like you appear to be so serious." Most of the time, that I would never imagine that like you have this big ass smile, like, and that you laugh
Mm.
so hearty. Because I always have this like stern, like super serious presentation. Then I'm like the loudest motherfucker in the back laughing, and you like what? So
Yeah.
I feel like I give off a tougher, maybe that's that New York in me, that tougher exterior, you know, at first, but underneath,
Mm.
I'm just a happy, fun guy trying to be lit like everybody else.
There it is. See, look at you got a glimpse again. Y'all probably seen throughout. Now y'all know, like the big smile, the cheese, and everything. Bro, he said, "Dang, I brought the 7'9" thing, bro. We don't have the freaking giants like this nowadays, y'all. Okay, this is not David and Goliath. Okay, I'm just playing. I'm just playing with y'all, but very convincing, y'all. You know, got to act the influence when it comes to that, man. Got to get them acting skills on par, man. Uh, all right, my G. Now switching back to the music and your trajectory into the future and what that can hold for you. Um, when it comes to music and art, give us your why. Or like, why do you create the music you do? And what do you wish to accomplish with it? So why do you even create music? and what do you wish to accomplish with your music?
So in the beginning, I was like most people. Like I wanted to create music for clout, for validation, for recognition, for praise, for all of the things that you see in the 90s, right?
Mm. Mm.
The women, the flashy, all that shit, right? But now I do it as a means to communicate with the next generation, or the next generations, I should say,
Mm.
because I look at my artistry as a time capsule.
Mm.
So what I presented now, when my adult children listen to the project, they'll be able to know, like, oh, this is where what my dad was doing at this age. Like he was going in, like, okay, or he, this is where his passion was, this is where his talent was, okay,
Yeah.
and then maybe when the grandkids grow up, oh, granddad was, granddad used to, so you got it in you too, and
Yeah.
maybe even generations after that, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's kind of like, that's why I'm doing it now. And
Yeah.
that's why it's important to keep doing it,
Mm.
because I don't want that conversation to stop abruptly. I don't want it to be a short conversation. I want it to be, this was your dad in the 30s, mid 30s, mid 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just as it went. So now they have, it's different layers,
Yes.
different conversations, different different versions of me. You know what I'm saying? That they
Yes.
can commune with, in a sense, and take a snapshot of just where I've been, roads I've traveled, experiences, and just a small essence of me.
Mm. But I'm gonna give you that. Give you this. Definitely. Again, thinking of the legacy and thinking of not only the stories that can be told through the songs, but also just the conversations that can be had as well. So
Yeah.
I'm with that. This is the bridge. I mean, I think as well as I know that's one thing that not only in our community in particular is, in the Black community, but just also within hip hop still being, young in itself of how the age and how long it's been out, learning how to create those bridges between old school, quote unquote, and new
Hmm.
school, and all the different flavors that come into hip hop, and not just, section it off into just different, quote unquote, we'll say proverbial towns, and not having those bridges or those streets or freeways that connect, those ways, so that everyone can get not only experience, but then everybody's interconnected in some way, shape, or form. Even if they do mess with or they don't mess with, it's just they're not completely blocked off.
Hmm. I agree with that. And the other half of that, because that's like my selfish reason for doing it, right? My
Mm-hmm.
personal inward reason. But as far as like the external component, it's really has just become to bring people together. Like I keep it simple, and like for me, the listening party was everything, because it brought people together,
Yeah.
and it got people interacting, talking. We voted on the album cover. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a whole experience, and that's kind of what I see the purpose and the point of doing this is now. So if it's, us doing the live right now with 6 people viewing,
Yeah.
I'm bringing people together. I am a successful artist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could
Yeah.
be on stage with 30,000 people. People are here together listening. I'm a successful artist. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? So now that's kind of my new compass.
Mm.
I go in the direction that's going to bring people together. And if I'm doing that, I know I'm going in the right direction, and I'm fulfilling my purpose as an artist.
Well said. Well said. And speaking of your purpose, as well as bringing together, connecting, and ultimately having an impact in some way, shape, and form, what are your thoughts on having an impact as an artist, whether in music or in art?
So what are my thoughts on having an impact? Like, what do you
Yeah.
need to do to have an impact?
It's again, I leave these very wide open to wherever you want to go with them. It's open for interpretation. You know, my G. So wherever you want to take it, it can be how you do it, you know, when you do it, why would you want to have impact, etc.
Okay. Um, I think it's important to have impact because it leaves a blueprint. Like that footprint in the sand, that's a blueprint, that's a map, that's a road that somebody can travel after you.
Mm,
So I think if anything, it's important to make an impact just so that you can create a path for someone else.
yes.
You know, so hopefully in the future I may never blow as a rapper. I may never like have the accolades as a J. Cole or a Jay-Z. But that's not to say what I'm doing now can inspire my great great granddaughter to be not even the next best rapper, but like the next best film writer or something like that. Like she probably like, oh, I heard granddad, he was so and I did this with it. It inspired me to do that. Who knows? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But that's kind of like where I'm at with it.
And I can dig that. You may not be the one to create all the ultimate shades, but you'll be able to spark the mind of the one who may or may does to go on to do something. You know, a
Yep.
little, a little, a little short from Tupac and some more other folks. You know,
Yeah.
some yeah. Again, I'm not okay. This is not. I'm not always a quotey type guy. I could quote other stuff, but that's what came to
Yeah.
mind.
I just want to be a catalyst. You know what I'm saying? At best, if I can help create that change or get that spark to somebody else who's gonna take it beyond me,
Yes.
then I did my job.
Mm. And now the other half to that, since we were already talking about the different feels, the vibes, emo rap, and things of that sort. What are your thoughts on emotions, either in connection to your life and your passions?
Mm. It's funny because me and K Maddox been having some conversations around emotions lately, in the perspective of men and how we're conditioned. And
Mm.
I feel like the more I've become vulnerable within myself,
Yeah.
and the more that I have developed new channels of communication, the stronger my pen and my writing game has become.
Mm.
So now like I can I can travel into like the deep part of that well versus giving you something shallow. So I would say like um the direct comparison that was made earlier from No Cuffs to Soul Searching would be an accurate kind of a description of that. Like
Mm.
you have something relatively surface level, and then you have something that's like very layered, very deep, very um, well organized, put together, all that stuff. So that to me is like how I would describe that. I don't want to drag it out, but yeah.
No, it's again, I agree with you when it comes to society and how not only men are frowned upon when it comes to being emotional, but not being able to have appropriate outlets to be able to show those emotions, and more so sticking
Mhm.
to the main narratives of when we're angry or we're upset, or you know, showing some types of physical aggression versus you can have a different outlet of maybe putting that in a song, or having, honestly, I like to say this, and this is, again, this could be for other communities, but again, I'm speaking because this is my experiences. I'm a black male, black man, is being able to have that, like, is another thing, passport to manhood, being able to have that that trial, or literally that transition, going from a child to a man, and learning throughout that aspect of crossing over into manhood, being able to know, like, not only about the physical, the mental and all of that together, but also the emotion aspect of what that takes, whether if that is learning more about stoicism, whether it's learning how it's okay to get in touch with your feelings and to display them in these certain ways and in certain contexts. Like, you don't have to end up crying only when someone unfortunately has passed away, or there's a big significant thing that happens in your life, whether you marry off a daughter, son, whatever it is, and you show tears then, and like little to no tears to bottle that stuff up. But in conversations, things of that sorts, in safe spaces or brave spaces, be able to do that and show those different ranges of emotions. Because again, we're not just these emotionless beings.
And just because you're describing emotions that you would deem vulnerable doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing it in a non-masculine way, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I can express sadness and other things that trigger me, make me uncomfortable, make me vulnerable, make me doubt myself, and
Yeah.
things like that, and like express guilt, remorse, and not sound like and I don't know, I don't want to say sound feminine, but not,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be that way. And I feel like I'm definitely a strong example of that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
I feel like this project will be a case in point of that. Like you can be emotional as fuck, but not sound like you're crying your heart out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can sound powerful, you can sound masculine in your voice, even when you're vulnerable, even when you're sad, even when you're discussing things that as a man you're not conditioned or typically allowed to express or talk about.
Yes.
So that's how I feel about emotions and its place. If
Yes.
more men explored that and embraced that side, then it would add a depth to their writing and
Yes.
their artistry that you can't replace.
Yes. And again, however you display it the way that you do and still have that, again, masculine frame. But that's like, that'll be a whole nother topic of things to go off on too, because I would love to get
Yeah.
into that. But again, before I do and before I end, thank you again, brother, for your time. Shouts out to everybody here that's still holding it down with us in
Yes,
this
thank you.
interview. Has
Really
been here
appreciate it.
throughout here. You never know. Again, time just flies through, but I appreciate your time, appreciate your support, and coming out to again support the brother under the influence and learn a little bit more, not only about him, but just all that brings to the table. That proverbial table we like to talk about. But last question I got for you to ask everybody that comes on this. It's my ending question, and I always got a shout out. Shout out to the sister, Busy Balboa, who gave me the idea for this just from off of hers. But last question I got for you, brother. When it comes to any aspect of life, you can take it again. It's up for interpretation. Any aspect of life, is it the quality or the quantity?
Mm. I'm gonna say quantity.
Mm.
And I know that sounds odd, but here's why. I used to be a quality guy. And the reason why I was a quality guy was because of what we discussed earlier. Like
Yes.
everything gotta be perfect, everything gotta be the best, everything gotta be, super excellent. So it was always quality, and that handicapped me
Mm.
so much and just kind of siphoned my creativity. When I started to just, focus on freestyle with Rhyme Masters and Desmond and the whole community and like learn these other tools, then it became less and less and less about that and more and more and more about changing that focus.
Yes.
So where I'm at with it now is production will lead to quality.
Yeah.
The more you do, the more you rinse and repeat, the better you will become.
Mm.
And so now I just focus on doing. And if I don't like what I did,
Mm-hmm.
It just means that the next time I got to do better. It's no different than being on the court.
Yeah.
You get that open shot, you lay up, you miss. Yeah, you're mad, the team's mad, but you get back in the game and you just, next one, I'm making sure that shit go in.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And over time, that's going to be the next star versus the guy that's waiting for the perfect shot in the corner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Barely getting the ball.
You making your
So,
opportunities versus waiting.
So for me, quantity, when done right,
Yes.
will lead to quality. But you have to commit in order to get there.
Yeah.
You know, and it has to be deliberate and focused.
Yeah.
Or you're just aimlessly doing shit, right? No one has time for that.
Yes. Because when you are on a move, you making an influence. So you gotta keep doing that, you know? And on top
Yeah.
of that too, brother, if you saw why I laughed when you had said, man, you know, I used to be a quality guy. It just kind of gave me a start off of like literally talking about how you started a nice guy turned into an a-hole. Like that's how it sounded for a quick second. That's why I started laughing. I was like, I used to be a quality guy. But then after that, like, that sounded like it could have been a start to a commercial. but other than that, thank you for that well you know, put together and really, you know, not only heartfelt but open answer to this. And again, there's no right and wrong when it comes to this. So that's why I asked when in particular to you. In particular, yes, the sports references are gonna be
Sports
like that
references.
all day on the court, whether that in the end zone, get the touchdown, all of that stuff, you know, that's in there, you know. Schedule out your timing because again, you just can't be waiting in there because we got to get this done at this time and then we'll go back for a second round at this time, okay? Um, but with all the
Yeah.
jokes aside, again, I want to take the time again, give you your flowers and appreciate you for the content that you put out and will continue to put out to bridge these gaps, to explore these different spectrums of emotion and experiences to leave upon this legacy and have this impact that honestly you already have. Again, like I said, you inspired me and pushed me when I had put my project out. So I really still appreciate you so much for that energy and that push. So thank you again for your time. Thank you for your support and your sharing of all of this here, brother, for this interview.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you and everyone that's here chiming in, you know, and participating and engaging with us. So couldn't ask for a better Saturday night, honestly.
There it is, y'all. And now, before I close out, again, brother, please, any last things you want to share, tell people, as well as please plug all that you can, and then we'll end this interview.
Yeah, just want to shout out to everyone that was at the listening party, everyone that's here now, everyone that I collaborated with and featured and participated and provided feedback into building the album into what it is now. Very proud of it, very happy with the result. And it's just going to get better from here because, as we said, quantity will lead to quality. So that's the goal. Much more to come. And yeah, man, just keep riding. Keep riding, and I guarantee you're going to like where this is going.
Yep. But with that, y'all, this has been another More Interviews, aka Memoirs of Our Real Experiences. And again, before we go, when it comes to your memoirs and experiences, please continue to write down your memoirs and your experiences to keep growing and sharing your life. But with that, y'all, thank you again, brother, Under the Influence, and shouts out again to everyone that came through. Check this out later. Wherever it may end up being, we'll have it on YouTube, and all the links and stuff will be available. But with that, y'all, peace, one love, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.